All right, y'all. I'm back. Got my boy Deezy. It's been a minute since me and Deezy's talked. Deezy, a lot has changed since we've talked, in not just crypto, but in the world in general. But what's happening, man?
Man, yeah, there's balloons floating around. There's, there's weird events going on. What's going on with the economy, with the housing, with the cars? What's going on with crypto? Things are pumping. I don't know, man. It's confusing times, right? Are we in a recession, or is it, things about to go back up? Who knows?
Well, it's interesting you brought that up because I was listening to the last FOMC meeting. Jerome Powell, a slight interest rate hike, and he actually sounded pretty tamed on inflation. And I'm assuming, is that why you think the crypto markets have responded so favorably in the last couple of weeks?
Yeah, it seems like they're not really going to move it past 5% too hard, too broadly. So yeah, it seems like people are ready, but maybe it's a suckers rally. I don't know, but historically in the 5 year cycle, this is that part where it just kind of begins a slow grind. It just hasn't been that slow. It's
So
like
you're
medium speed.
Oh yeah. Something definitely feels different about this cycle. Are you still on the basis of the Bitcoin halving cycle going
Yep.
into 2024? Because
Yeah, I'm still it's big. And if you look at it, so we peaked December 2017 and then November 21. So that means, should be around October 25, maybe September. So I mean, we still got a long ways away, man. That's 2.5 years from now before we see that parabolic top
that
potentially.
that's kind of how I feel. That you'll have different relief rallies throughout this, but yes, it's going to lead to that. Now, are you concerned at all? Nothing's particularly, but any of these geopolitical concerns going on right now, is any of that concerning, or is the Bitcoin halving cycle just kind of disconnected from what's going on in the
I
world?
think it's a little disconnected. I mean, there's going to be some correlation there. If all of a sudden Russia drops a nuke, obviously Bitcoin's going to crash just like it did with COVID. But then you can see if you look at the Bitcoin March 2020 crash, it kind of shook it off.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost like an aberration. If you zoom out enough, it almost like it didn't happen. I don't know if that will happen this time, but who knows what's going on with China, Ukraine, Russia, North Korea. I mean, it's things are getting a little hairy.
Yeah, it's a very interesting time to be alive right now. Kathy Woods has come out. I'm sure you've seen her prediction, the 2030 $1 million Bitcoin prediction. Do you think that maybe she's going to be right?
I think she's going to be wrong, man. I mean,
Ooh.
2030, this seems a little bit high. I don't even really, I'm not sure if we pass 100K in 25. We might only hit 90,
Mm-hmm.
95. Maybe we hit 200. I don't think it'd be any higher than that. So for it to go all the way up to 1 million in 7 years seems a little bit of a tall order. That's basically best case scenario. That's two bull tops from now.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that would mean it'd have to hit 600K this bull rally in 25, and then the next one maybe it would double from there. But that just seems nuts.
At this point, though, I'm thinking that she may know something that, the average retail doesn't know. And only thing I'm thinking, maybe it's just me being optimistic, is that some government, whether it's the United States or something, is going to say, okay, we're seeing Russia and China buy all this gold to back their, new stable coin that we know is coming, the central bank digital currency that we know is coming. Perhaps the United States government or another government says, you know what, we're going to get ahead of this and buy a lot of Bitcoin to back our dollar. Do you think that that could happen in between now and
There
2030?
could be some sort of pumpamental with sovereign nations coming in. Maybe there's a lot of oil money. A lot of
Mm-hmm.
Middle Eastern oil money funnels into it. You get a lot of Chinese money, then you get American money. Yeah, that could pump it up to these moon math figures. I don't know if all that's going to play out in the next 7 years, though, because there's a lot of powers that be that want to fight that. And so
Mm-hmm.
I don't see them losing that battle in the next 7 years. To me, that would be like 17 years, 27 years before that battle's lost.
Yeah, and what we're seeing, I was thinking about, I was like, well, why would the U.S. government buy Bitcoin when they could just seize Bitcoin from criminals and whatnot?
Mhm.
So, now let's get to some Cardano news, man, because Cardano's in a very interesting place right now. We've seen it actually pump recently, but what I thought was I don't know if you saw this or not. Lex Friedman was on Joe Rogan,
Yeah.
and Lex Friedman put it out there for Joe to bring on Charles Hoskinson, and I know what I don't think people that really know Joe Rogan or know Charles Hoskinson realize how interesting of a conversation that would be. What do you think about that?
I think there's a huge chance it happens. One, Charles was on Lex podcast before, and so
Mm.
there's a little bit of connection there. Maybe he has all the pertinent contact information, be able to make it happen. But I think Joe's more likely to bring him on, versus a Vitalik or something like that, because one, the man lives on a Wyoming ranch. Joe's into like hunting bears with bow and arrows, so like
Elk
boom,
meat.
they connect. Two, he has a falcon. Three, he has all these crazy costumes. He dresses like he's Klaus Schwab or something. And so I think there's just a lot of angles for them to talk, because Joe knows his audience probably doesn't want to listen to crypto for 3 hours. That's going to be a little bit boring, but they could definitely do 30 minutes of crypto, 30 minutes of falconing, 30 minutes of, sustainability with energy, another 30 minutes on what it's like living in a ranch. And then there's a whole angle where you have an exciting episode.
Yeah, I think, that's what I tell my friends. It's like, dude, that episode would be so much bigger than crypto. I mean, Charles is he's an out there guy. Joe's obviously an interesting guy. So, now as far as the Cardano NFTs go, and again, I got to give you and Justin credit, because I look at y'all as like the first settlers into the Cardano NFTs. My goodness, dude, some of the ones that I got in, a lot of y'all's picks have done incredible. And I'm just kind of at this point right now, and I'm like, wait, how are some of these have 10x'd? And I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
we're not even in, and I'm assuming, let's say Cardano gets to an all-time high. Smart investors, so they're not going to want to sell their Cardano because it's a taxable event. They may transfer them into NFTs to hold the value. So I was like, maybe we haven't seen anything yet. What are you thinking?
No, I think there's something there, because no one really remembers how bullish Cardano NFTs were about a year ago. It was just everything's up. Maybe it's 2 years. No, yeah, about a year ago. So everything was super bullish. And, the example I like to give for the Cardano ecosystem kind of living in a bubble is I went to 2 Cardano events in about 2 weeks. It was the Rare event in Denver, and then it was the CNFT Con, the Cardano NFT Con in Vegas. These were, I want to say, around October, give or take. And there's a Litecoin summit also within around 2 weeks of that. And I talked to some people who went to Litecoin summit, Rice TVX, Crypto Blood, I think one other, and Tom Crown. And I asked them, hey, man, I just went to this Cardano conference. Everyone is super bullish. I'm trying to talk them off the ledge. I'm trying to tell them to sell. I'm trying to tell them to take profit. There's a society token, and, it's all-time high. And I'm like, everybody's just walking around like it's April of 21, and they have no idea the down season that we're about to experience. And I asked the Litecoin attendees, so what was Litecoin like? Was it the same? And they're like, no, optimistic, bullish. What are you talking about? No, man, we're all bearish. And I was like, okay, so Cardano's just in a bubble where, we don't really listen to criticism. We don't really listen to FUD. We just keep doing our own thing. And so, yeah, I think when Cardano turns bullish, when it hits all-time highs, it's going to be insane. Now, you are going to have some, projects. If you bought in at 35-cent Cardano and it's worth 100, maybe if Cardano 10x's, you can't expect it to 10x in ADA. But, it's going to reach a parity with the fiat level, but there's still huge opportunity.
Oh, yeah. I think you're right. And again, I'm not the most technical guy as far as, how the blockchain's built, but it seems like from listening to Charles, he really is an educated guy. He really does know what's going on. But I guess my only concern, I want to ask you, any concerns with possible SEC? We're seeing the SEC really big talks from our government about ramping up enforcement, going after projects. Now, Charles, he speaks on, to Congress a lot on Capitol Hill. So is he kind of immune to this? Does he know what he's doing?
I wouldn't say immune. It seems like the best strategy is SBF. You just bribe everybody, but they did their IPO in Japan with Cardano, so they might get away with it. I'm sure they had a lot of smart people looking at the laws, looking at the books at the time. And so Cardano Foundation is in that rare class of protocols where they can literally fight the SEC tooth and nail and spend $100 million on it and then not blink an eye. XRP, Coinbase, there's a handful of entities that can just, hey, look, we got all the money. We're like a Coca-Cola. We're like an Alphabet, Cardano's it probably in that rarefied space. So I think they could take SEC all the way down to the Supreme Court.
Yeah, I think it is a situation where the SEC really has to pick its battles as well, and they're going to perhaps go after some of the low-hanging fruit, for who they want to target for whatever reason. Now, the Cardano NFTs, seeing the different marketplaces, how cool they were, and, just seeing something different from OpenSea. Now, you guys are actually working on in the BitBoy crypto team, y'all working on your own NFT marketplace. Is that correct?
Yeah, we're working on well, it's mostly me and Justin working on. We got some team members and some designers working outside of it's more of an outside of Hit Network thing. But yeah, Justin Williams, he's the CEO. I'm the CMO, and yeah, we're launching. It has Cardano, Polygon, and Ethereum. We're about to launch the beta. We might have closed betas with just like maybe one chain at a time. We might do the beta all three at once. We're still deciding internally how we're going to do that. But yeah, we're ready to take down all the marketplaces. We're ready to take down OpenSea. We're ready to take down JPEG Store. We're bringing a lot of things to NFT marketplace that no one else is doing. We have some secret sauce ingredients, I think, really going to attract the Web3 crowd. And also, I think there's just going to be good opportunity there just to have better products. I think there's a lot of marketplace that could be a little bit better. Maybe they get really big. They just start printing money. I don't want to say complacent, but maybe the need to adapt and the need to evolve really isn't there because they're already number one. And so we think there's some opportunity here.
Yeah, so Vumio's the name of the marketplace now. I
Mm-hmm.
guess the way I look at it from a business standpoint is that you can see the transaction volume on OpenSea, you can see the transaction volume on JPEG.store, and it's saying, man, you only need to get a small percentage of that market share to really compete. It's kind of like a wide open space, and I think that the NFTs are going to be a lot more adopted in the next 5 years.
Yeah, none of these NFT degens are loyal to a marketplace. If
Mhm.
you see an NFT and it's $10 cheaper somewhere else, you're going to go there and just save $10. And so, yeah, really it's just create a good product, have the listings. I think the rest will kind of take care of itself.
Yeah, and you and Justin, y'all are ingrained a lot of not just CNFT communities, but Ethereum-based communities, and that's really what building a marketplace is all about. I mean, you're essentially just an aggregator, right? You're just putting together the data,
Yeah,
bringing
we're gonna
people
have an
together.
aggregator so as you can find all the listings. I don't think there's anything like this on Cardano, at least anything that's like seamless and easy to
Mhm.
use. And so yeah, we're ready to, just combine everything. It's just your one-stop shop. You don't have to bounce around. You don't have to have a bunch of multiple tabs open. We want to integrate some community communication devices too, kind of like maybe some of the best parts of Discord. And so you really don't have to leave. And so we just want to make the
Mhm.
one-stop shop, kind of like the super app for NFTs.
That's really interesting. And man, yeah, when you told me y'all were doing that, I was like, man, this is awesome because, just because of the interesting space that you guys are in as pioneers into, the Cardano NFTs. But let's talk a little metaverse, man, because metaverse, it seems like the narrative of metaverse has kind of moved into place of AI. AI's kind of, stolen the show. Are you still bullish on metaverse at all?
In the long term, yeah. In the short term, pretty bearish. I think there's been one little thing that's maybe disrupted my thesis there, though. It's the Apple investment that's going on with Sandbox. And if you look at Mana on GitHub, Mana is like one of the top submissions for all of December. And they could be, really, really big in 2023. Those who don't know, if you go on GitHub and you write a little piece of code, you could literally just write nothing and, hit command and or hit enter. And it shows like, hey, a contribution has been made. I'm willing to bet though when you see hundreds of these contributions being made, there's something there, and so I don't know if it's Apple engineers, software engineers doing all this Mana coding. I don't know if it's the Mana team, maybe got a fire under their and they're contracting out, getting ready to integration with the App Store. But I think there's maybe we'll see a second bull run. So if you remember when Meta did the big announcement, I think it was like 10 billion a year for 10 years, every metaverse
Everyone.
token pumped. I think we might see a second little pump off of some Apple news. I don't know what it's going to be. Maybe it's hey, we have the release date for a VR World app. Maybe
Mhm.
that type of announcement might create a pump. I think there's going to be a little bit of some pump. I don't think people are going to be using it like that. So
Mhm.
I think it's going to be mostly a hype based price speculation.
Yeah, I think it's safe to say that, most of us, we don't really know what the metaverse is or what it's going to be. But, we're seeing that Fidelity's actually integrating into Decentraland, man, to have a Fidelity in-house place where you can go. So I'm kind of seeing what they want to do with it. But I think I'm with you that, once Apple makes a big announcement or, Microsoft, Google, or something make some big announcements similar to what Facebook did, we are going to see the metaverses.
You know what
I'm
I'm ready
invested in them.
for? So all
But,
these AI things, the Chat GPT, and there's a
mhm,
big announcement. Google just invested, I think, 300 million at a $3 billion valuation with a different AI company. And so you have the big players, you have Apple with their Siri team. I mean, even Tesla has a very, very strong AI team. So you
mhm.
have all the biggest tech companies in the world working very, very hard on AI. I'm ready for Meta, aka Facebook. I don't know if you know they have that partnership with Ray-Ban sunglasses. I'm ready to where I hit my Ray-Bans on and I hit a button and it creates my AR virtual assistant where you see them with your glasses on. You're like they're in the room, maybe sitting in a chair, and you're like, "Hey, what's a good chicken cordon bleu recipe? Thanks. Hey, how do I get to the airport? What's the best path at 2 p.m.? Thanks. Hey," and then you click the button and they disappear. I'm super ready for that. I don't know when that's so I'm super bullish on the technology, but what I just envision that could be 15, 20 years from now.
Mhm.
And people are pricing these things like it's 2 to 5 years from now. And so you got to be a little bit careful, catch the pumps, maybe take some profit, maybe buy a dip when no one's talking about it anymore. But yeah, I think an AR AI assisted virtual assistant that's just like you make appear and disappear with a button on your Ray-Ban. You just hit the
Mhm.
little Ray-Ban logo. How cool would that be?
Man, it obviously technology is cool. Technology advances fast, but man, Deezy, it has Skynet become self-aware, man. I don't know, man. I think we're moving. It's getting a little dystopic for me.
Yeah, I mean, I'm running from the T1000. You know what I mean? I want to be like John Connor, like in T2. Like hacking ATMs and stuff. But hey, man, they say in the future, either code and tell what the robots to do, or you will be told by the robots what to do. And so, that is a scary scenario.
I for one, welcome our robot overlords.
Yes, yes, we love our robot overlords. Do not make me work the mines.
Deezy, I gotta ask you some stuff on Crypto Skulls. I know you and the whole Vumio team, y'all had the space with Crypto Skulls with Irish, NFT Gal, and them. So, what are you feeling about the skulls right now, man?
Man, I wish Justin's in the room. He might be popping in a little bit later. Yeah, Justin's the one who got me into skulls. I'm still bullish on the team. Talking to the team with that Vumio spaces, they seem like they really know what they're doing. I think there's a lot of opportunity there with it being the first successful 10K PFP project,
Mm-hmm.
and it has the Gary V blessing. And so
Mm-hmm.
when eyeballs hit the space again and Gary V's like, popping up on CNBC talking about NFTs again, when it's bullish again, and there's a new Yuga drop and this is
Mm-hmm.
happening and punks and then metaverse. Yeah, there's going to be huge opportunity with the crypto skulls. I think that's going to be like an OG artifact in the NFT space.
Yeah, I think the art's really cool too, man. I like that 8-bit kind of style. Are there any other projects y'all working with Vumio right now? Any launch partners?
No launch partners. We're meeting with people. I think I could share this. We're talking to Waka Flocka Flame tomorrow. He
Nice.
has actually got way more knowledge about Web3 than a lot of people I expected. I think he bought his first Bitcoin in like 2012. Is invested in Bitcoin crypto companies. Is very, very familiar with the space. Has several apes. And I was just blown away by how much this guy knew about NFTs. Probably way more than a Snoop or even the celebrities you expect to kind of know a lot about NFTs. This guy was phenomenal with his knowledge, and so we're talking to him tomorrow. Possibly bring him on as an advisor. So yeah, we're still building and still working on the tech side, but we're also still working on the biz dev side.
Damn. So Waka not only goes hard in the paint, he's going hard in Web3. I like it. I
Yeah, he's gonna
like it.
be here tomorrow, man. I wish you were out here, man. We gotta get
Oh,
you, dude.
bro.
I wish you would have bought that house in Atlanta, man. Be
Dude,
hanging out with Waka tomorrow.
I promise you, I am gonna make a trip out there to see y'all again. I haven't seen y'all new studio and stuff, so that would definitely be fun. But so Waka Flocka, is he launching an NFT or anything, or is he just
He's like on the business side, man. He really knows. Yeah, he isn't just a guy that's gonna like drop a collection. No, he'd be like dropping. He might come on and help us launch a marketplace.
dude, that's incredible. Did you see that I got some notes here. Did you see that Sam Bankman-Fried is asking for all the political donations for them to give it back? Did you see
Yeah,
that?
I don't know how they're gonna claw back from this like dark super PAC money, and it's like well, you remember November, all the television ads? Yeah, we spent the money. Like, I mean, now what? You go to CBS and say, yeah, on The Young and the Restless, we had this commercial. Like, yeah, we need the money back for that. So I don't know how far down the line you're going to go,
The rats are leaving the sinking ship. Speaking of that, so you and Justin were on a show with Kevin O'Leary, correct? Y'all,
Yep.
y'all,
Yep.
and now
Money
is the
Court.
show the show got canceled, right?
Yeah, Money Court got canceled. Yeah, big thanks to you getting on there, by the way.
Could you kind of tell us what happened on the show? I didn't even watch it. I didn't
Yeah, I'll
even
tell you
watch
the
it
whole
yet.
story. Yeah, so you reached out like, hey, this show's reaching out. They're looking for an NFT story. I kind of told them, your situation with Pluto Alliance. A little background: we had a mutant ape, and we didn't really know what to do with it in the treasury. I wanted to just kind of hold on to it and just keep getting the airdrops. Justin was maybe wanting to sell it, and I think he wanted to buy metaverse plots, actually, Sandbox or something like that. And so we had this disagreement. We both have like equal equity or equal say in the matter. And so we went on the show. They had to vet us, they interview us, get his camera ready. They flew us out to Florida. They shot the episode. It was, the makeup and the whole thing, how to wear a suit. It's kind of like Shark Tank. Think Shark Tank meets Judge Judy. So it's like Judge Judy. It's like, hey, this guy's dog peed on my fence and then, knocked it over. Then this guy's like, I don't know what he's talking about. And so the same thing is like, hey, I want to do this with my business. No, I want to do this. And they kind of sit there and they judge and they preside over it. And so, yeah, they said, hey, here's what you're going to do with the ape, the whole thing. But he was talking to us off camera, and the guy really didn't know that much about crypto. He's like, yeah, USDC has never lost its peg and Tether has. We're like, what are you talking about? Yeah, it has. Look at it. Like, look, you see aberrations in stable coins all the time. You don't know what you're talking about. He did have a young guy on his team. He said bought a bunch of mutant serums. So that was pretty good. Here's the crazy thing. This was the day after Bitcoin crashed. And so this was everybody's panicking, everyone's like checking charts, and CryptoPunks had just fallen, I think, to 50 ETH, and ETH was like just hit under 1,000. It was like the day ETH hit 1,000. And so, I mean, you want to talk about bearish vibes in the air. And he was just, he had a bad idea. He was like with a bad company. I don't even want to give them credit or give them clout, but he was like, yeah, I think this is going to be great. And we're like, dude, that sucks. What are you talking about? He's like, no, it's going to be good. And here's why. We're like, no, man. Internally, I'm thinking, you don't know what the hell you're talking about. But yeah, it ended up being a pretty fun experience. And yeah, Justin just walked in. Maybe I can get him to give his 2 cents. He just asked us, Kevin O'Leary, Money Court. What were your thoughts about money? And I was just basically saying the guy didn't know that much.
What up, Justin?
Gavin, what's up, dude? How are you?
What's happening? Doing great, brother. Doing great. How you doing, man?
Doing well, dude. You're not classic anymore.
Man, dude, it's like my Facebook movement, when they remove when Justin Timberlake told me to remove the V, I've been told to remove the classic and just go with Kevin Estopanol, but nobody can say my last name, but it's all good.
It's a conversation piece, the name.
It's good point.
What do I think about what the Kevin O'Leary show? It was, to Deezy's point, he doesn't know much at all.
It's incredible.
He doesn't know much at all. And like you kind of that persona that he has on Shark Tank, where he tries to bully his way into a position. And then usually the people don't know, like they're either afraid of him or they don't know he's wrong. Well, there were several cases like that during the show where I was like, of course they cut him out, but Deezy was there. He saw that I did correct him. But he was just saying some kind of off the wall stuff. That it was like he's a really good actor. You would believe him by his face, but if you understand, what he's saying, and he's full of shit. So he doesn't know much at all. He has other people investing crypto for him. I do really believe the reason he pivoted his position on Bitcoin was because of the 15 million he got from FTX. So I think that's what he totally changed his position on crypto. He was caught on, was it CNBC or he was caught? Yeah, he's caught in his lies. And
they had the dates. Yeah, they had the dates of what he said, and he kind of squirmed his way out of it. But yeah, I've lost a lot of respect. I've lost a ton of respect for Mr. Wonderful, man. I was a fan of Shark Tank. I can't even stand to watch it.
I don't like it anymore. I was the same way.
Like Bethany, though, sharp, cool lady.
Bethany was cool. We actually got her number, and we've talked to her a few times. Met with some of her people in New York last year. So yeah, she's really cool. She's interesting. She's a shark too, though. Like you can tell why these people are in the positions they're in. They're shrewd business people. for
I think
sure.
I think Vumio needs to hold their own kind of Shark Tank thing for some NFT projects, man. I think that would be cool with you, Ben, Deezy sitting on the couches, kind of grading projects, man. I think that'd be pretty incredible.
That would be kind of interesting. Yeah.
That would be cool. But then the 7th episode, everything's going to be vetted, and then they're going to abscond with the money, and they're going to be like, hey, you gave him the seal of approval. They're like, well, I didn't expect him to lie about his mom having cancer. Sorry.
Oh, jeez.
It's
So-
hard to regulate. It's hard to regulate, NFTs and crypto in general. It's really hard to like get behind a project. When you see, of course, I've been through a couple different cycles now. I knew going into this last cycle that 90-something% of the projects were going to be trash. And that's what happens. And you get these influencers that are paid to do promotions, and they're just, doing the best they can. They vet the projects, they check out the code, they look at the team. It doesn't matter. Crypto can change on a dime. The teams can go away. The contracts can be changed, and then the influencer is held.
You have 5 meetings with them. You're seeing their face. They're like, yeah, we're based in Malaysia. We're based in Malaysia. And you kind of just take them at their word. I mean, I'm not flying to Malaysia and knocking on the office door. I'm not Google Street View and saying, all right, well, what color is the fire hydrant across the street? You kind of have to take people at face value here. And we've seen people can be incentivized to just con you.
Money does weird things.
Yeah, it's incredible. Business and money, you see the best and worst in people, unfortunately. But before I let y'all go, congrats on Vumio. I'm actually really excited about that. I definitely want to cover that more on this channel. But I want to ask both of y'all, I want to talk about last question, life after crypto. So say hypothetically we go into this super cycle, we take profits, NFTs, crypto. So now we have all this money. What are we doing with it? Are we buying real estate? Are we buying gold and silver?
Let Justin answer the real estate one. He's got a couple irons in the fire. What's your strategy?
I do real estate. I bought a couple houses last cycle that I own down in Florida. I own them 100%. I rent them out. I have my house up here in Woodstock, but I'm a big believer in real estate as the true store of value. If you look across time, it's not gold, it's real estate, it's land. That really does only appreciate, and so that's my plan, is to have I want, what is it, the Robert Kiyosaki? Yeah, not Kawasaki. I like his plan of having cash flow through rentals, and then your rentals are paying the mortgages, and the mortgages eventually will turn into equity, and then in 10 years you have a pretty fat retirement, right? So that's my plan. I would suggest anybody look into real estate. You're about to see some really heavy, good, strong opportunities coming up. As soon as the interest rates go down, prices will have dropped by then, and then there's going to be some opportunities to get in really low.
And Rich Dad Poor Dad, he's real big on Bitcoin now. I mean, I've read some of his stuff on Bitcoin, so he's dead on with real estate. So what about you, Deezy? What's the plan? What's the plan?
I think that is a good strategy. I'm trying to get to that level. I'm just in the middle of paying off my first house right now. So I got many, many years on that one. But I think in the meantime, if you don't have a $50K to put down on a down payment, there's a lot of opportunity with the real estate investment trust, a REIT. And with interest rates being high right now, the REIT return might not be that high. And those who don't know, real estate investment trust, they have to pay, I think, a minimum of 90% of their profits to the shareholders. And so you might have a stock that's worth $100, but they might pay you, they're paying you a lot better than the 1.96% of Microsoft or a Sears, or, you think of these like legacy companies and they pay a dividend. It's like 2%, 3%. So you have $100,000, $2,000 a year really isn't moving the needle, but you can get into some of these REITs really, really cheap. And you can find some attractive 7%, 8%, 9%, 10%, and you're getting them cheaper. So you might get it at 7% at $50. Fast forward a year, now it's worth $100, and then that $50 is paying you $7 a year. And so there's a lot of opportunity with that in the meantime, with this whole interest rate fiasco. Like as it's going up, housing, now is the time to get into those things.
Yeah, and REITs are a great way to expose yourself to real estate without actually having to buy real estate. So REITs are definitely a great move. So guys, so no clubs, no bottle service, no VIP, no watches, chain, nothing, none of that.
I think what Deezy doesn't want to tell you, he's actually planning on opening up some massage parlors too.
Ah, okay,
So
okay.
he's got a couple of his hands in the fire on that.
Yeah, it's called Greasy Deezy's.
Yeah.
I'm in Breaking Bad. I thought it was a laser tag they used. That was a good business opportunity. It sounded like, but
It's called Rub, not Tug.
jeez.
It's going to be a clean, above board massage parlor.
All right, fellas. Well, I appreciate having y'all on, guys. I'll have all the links. Make sure to give Deezy and Justin a follow. Really excited.
Vumeo.io. Go to Vumeo.io. Sign up for the beta. Kevin, we got to get you. We got to make sure you're in that as well. And there might be good opportunities if you sign up for the beta.
Super clean UI. Everything's branded really strong. The platform's looking good. Having weekly meetings with the developers now. Right now we're in the phase of cleaning up some aggregated data, making everything look nice, tweaking some of the UI, but we're super excited and very proud of the product that we're building.
Congrats again, fellas, and good luck with Waka Flocka tomorrow. Can't wait to see that. But anyway, y'all, I'm Kevin Stopenall, Justin and Deezy. We are out, y'all. Peace.
Later.